Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Freeman Motorsports for my last-minute 2025 NASCAR Championship predictions. I'm going to give you my 16 playoff picks and where I think they're each going to get eliminated, as well as 5 accolades for the season, which is what I have on my screen right now. Most improved driver, the biggest dud, the most improved team, the biggest dud team, and then the closest 2 teammates over the course of the season. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's going to be a wild year. These are quite literally last minute. The Daytona 500 is tomorrow, and we're going to get into it right away with the Most Improved Driver Award. So I had a few thoughts when I was coming up with this one. You know, the first name that popped into my mind, at least, was the 77 of Carson Hocevar. But I was like, well, Hocevar already performed really well as a rookie. You know, I think he's going to take a step forward, but where would that, massive step really be? He might win a race, which I still think is maybe unlikely with that equipment, but I'm not going to go Hocevar. Rather, I think someone's going to have a 180 from last year, and that's going to be the 8 of Kyle Busch, another Chevrolet. I think Kyle Busch this year is going to step back in victory lane and get his way into the playoffs, so I've already spoiled one of my playoff picks, but I think this is going to be Kyle Busch's rebound year, and I think there's going to be some polar opposites over in the RCR camp. I think they might have some kind of tough decisions for Pop over there on who's he going to keep in those seats, or if he even buys a third charter if one becomes available. But the biggest dud, this is kind of a layup here. But we're going to go with Austin Dillon. He did technically win a race last year, but I think Austin's going to continue to regress. And I think it's going to be kind of an awkward statement of, is Austin going to stay in that ride forever, or are they going to get rid of him at the end of this season, or maybe the next one? Well, I think that's a real gray zone here for RCR. Okay, next one, most improved team. So another one that I had a few different ideas here, but I'm going to go with a Ford now. We're going to go with, this is also the whole team, it's not just one car, but we're going to go with Front Row Motorsports, adding a charter. Got 3 young drivers, Zane Smith, Michael McDowell, and Noah Gragson. I think FRM is going to be knocking on the door of having all 3 cars be near playoff contention. I don't know if any of them are going to make the playoffs. It's kind of that gray zone between, can they get a win? I think winning is very important now to make the playoffs. Okay, that's a stupid comment, but what I mean is that obviously, if you win, you make the playoffs, but now it feels like even, we've had guys that are in the top 10 in points as of late not make the playoffs just because they couldn't win one race. So I think these cars are going to be consistently a lot better on average than last year, but I just don't know if they're still going to have quite race-winning pace. It'll be close, though. Biggest dud team. It's the end. It's the end for the 47. I think it's over for Hayek. I'm hopping on the doomsday train. I think that charter is going to be up for sale at the end of the year. And I can make a whole other video breaking down on where I think that charter goes or what silly season's going to be like next year, but I think it's over for Stenhouse. Okay, and then the closest teammate battle, I'm going to pick 2 new teammates for this year that are going to possibly be battling for the head of the home base. I'm going with Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, the new face at Joe Gibbs, already got the pole in this year's Daytona 500, which really isn't necessarily a driver's award, more so a team award. But I think these 2 are going to be going at it all season. Chase Briscoe finally has that chance to perform, and we'll see what he can do. Obviously, Bell has kind of been the face of the franchise the last few years. Hamlin's still been strong, but Bell's been the one picking up the race wins, and it's only going to get more like that as Hamlin ages out. What might be his last year at Joe Gibbs, maybe it's 2 more years. We'll see. But those are my preseason accolades. Now let's flip the table. I don't know. Pointing at me. All right. Okay. We'll switch it over to my championship prediction. So we've got a bit bigger tier list here. We got our 2025 champion, which will be the last thing we go to. But we're going to ARCA tier. So I think that's kind of self-explanatory. But this is F tier down here. And then we have, I just missed the playoffs. Just missed it. But you still didn't make it. And then we got the people that are contemplating life. They're not just bad. It seems like they're stuck in an internal spin cycle of just nothing seems to be working out for them. So here we go. Those are the tiers officially. But now let's go. We'll start off with the 1 of Ross Chastain. Now, I'm not sure. I could change these up a bit. I had a list on paper before I started this, but I still could change this on the fly if I like to. But is Ross Chastain going to make the playoffs this year after missing last year? We'll start with him in the S tier. Now, probably the easiest one of the whole day. Ty Dillon, he's going to the ARCA tier. Ty Dillon banished to the ARCA tier. Please do not return. Okay. Denny Hamlin, it seems to be an interesting spot for him here in 2025. He doesn't have the sponsorship dollars lined up behind him. Kind of a mysterious year. I think Denny Hamlin still will get a win and make the playoffs. I think that's pretty undoubted. Another driver, Ryan Blaney, easy playoff driver. We're tossing him in here. By the way, We're gonna have everybody in the playoff 16, then we'll bump them up as we go. I'm not just doing all four and then all four and then all four. Okay, so anyways, another easy pick here. This isn't even a full-time car. This is Rick Ware car. We'll say ARCA band ARCA. AJ Allmendinger, the Dinger, back in Cup Series full-time after looking really strong last year in the Xfinity Series, getting his first oval win on a non-super speedway, and we'll put him in the playoffs. I think this year with the additional road courses. Now, he does have to compete with the SVG, but I think he's still going to be able to sneak in to the playoffs. Chris Buescher, another easy one, even though he missed last year, right? Am I tripping? Yeah, he missed, and then he got the win at Watkins Glen. I think this year, Buescher's taking that step forward. He's winning a race. He's making the playoffs. Briscoe, I was already kind of hyping him up earlier, making the playoffs. Cindric, just missed it. Won last year in a lucky circumstance. I don't know. I think that's another tough decision over there at Penske, how much longer they want to keep the Austin Cindric in that 2 car. I like him. I think he's a funny, great guy, but when it comes to the driving skill, just not sure if you can justify keeping another driver in what is championship winning equipment. I just put quotation marks because they're not really fast over the regular season, but they are in the playoffs. Anyways, Christopher Bell, another easy playoff driver right there. And then Josh Berry. Josh Berry's a tricky one for me. I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. That Wood Brothers team has just been really off the pace the last 2 years, ever since Matt Benedetto drove it, which, I mean, wow, that's now I'm dating myself. But Josh Berry, it seems like he's had all this hype around him back in like 2020, 2021, got in with JRM. He's been the super sub for all the Chevy teams over the last few years. And now he finally gets his chance with Ford in the Cup Series. But last year he didn't really perform in the Xfinity Series. I just don't really have the faith right now in Josh Berry. So I'm putting him in the contemplating life tier. He's worked so hard to get his chance in the Cup Series, but now it kind of seems like the flame is burned out. There's not much hype around him going into this year. I think he's going to finally make it, and then I don't necessarily mean to be rude here, but I just think he's going to get there and then kind of be a dud. Unfortunately, I think Josh Berry might be just a one and done in the Cup Series, unless he signed a multi-year contract, which is fair to him then. But Joey Logano, Giggles Logano, a driver who, with everything in mind, was our champion, but barely made the playoffs last year if you take away that Vegas win early in the season that locked him in. After that, he was pretty abysmal, but I actually had him on my missed it list at times, but I'm gonna put him in as much as I don't want to. I'm gonna put him in. Another driver here, Bubba Wallace, hit or miss. Is this really a contract year for him? Probably not. He's probably gonna be a 23XI at least the next 3 or 4 years. I'm putting him in just missed it. I think he's got pace. If he wins the race, wouldn't surprise me, but I just don't think, with how competitive the field's starting to get, that I think he'll have speed, and it wouldn't shock me if he wins, but I don't think he's making the playoffs. William Byron had a career year last year, 5 wins. He's in. Austin Dillon, banned. You're going to ARCA. Let's get him out of here. Even though he'll probably still be in the series, so we'll keep him in ARCA. Our first front row motorsports. I guess the senior driver there now, which is pretty crazy, Todd Gilliland. It seems like he just joined the series a few years ago, which is true. I'm putting him in just missed it. I know I said that FRM is my team's going to take a step forward. I just still don't know if they have race-winning pace. Yeah, there you go. Just missed it tier. Riley Herbst, while he is kind of a daddy's money figure, last year, he had us thinking maybe he is something more with that win at Indy in the Brickyard Xfinity race. That was pretty impressive. So I'm going to put him in just missed it for now. I maybe probably need a tier in between this, but I've only got space for this many on the screen. Anyways, Zane Smith, another tricky one. For me, I know he got a few good finishes towards the end of the season with Spire, but still is very unimpressive for me. I know he's a quality driver because of what he can do in the Truck Series, but I'm going to put him in the just missed it right here. And the third FRM driver, we got the 4 here of Noah Gragson. I mean, I would love to toss him in the Challenger, but outside of a plate win, I don't think Gregson's getting in. Cole Custer, I'll put him in contemplating life. Yes, he's made it back to the Cup Series because, some of the family connections, I think Custer's a pretty solid driver, but for him, I think he's thoroughly trapped in between. He's really not All-Star Cup Series talent. He's probably not in a team that's got All-Star Cup Series equipment. And, yeah, it's just like, do you want to be the guy at the top dog of the Xfinity Series, or do you want to kind of just be mid in the Cup Series? And so he's just got to choose right now, which is a pretty tricky spot he finds himself in. I think Custer's quality. I actually would probably like to see Custer. I shouldn't say I would love, but it would be cool to see him maybe take over the 2 car. I think in that Penske equipment, I think he'd be really good. like I rate him pretty highly as a driver, but it's just he's kind of in a paradox in the Haas, not Stewart Haas, but in the Haas system. Next up, we'll go with Legacy Motor Club's cars. Yeah, we're going with John Hunter Nemechek. Easy contemplating life. Easy contemplating life. He came up quickly to the Cup Series, then decided to, rebuild. We'll get back in the Toyota pipeline. We'll go down to the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series for a few years. We'll get back to the Cup Series. And he just joins up with Legacy Motor Club, who seems to have just total identity crisis. Has no idea what's going on. And yeah, it seems like he's just stuck in this abyss, similar to Cole Custer. And with that, I kind of want to put Eric Jones here, but I respect Eric Jones just a little bit more, so I'm going to put him in the just missed it. Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace's teammate. I mean, this is easy playoff driver. Stenhouse, ARCA tier, banned. That team, I already said, I don't have high hopes for him this year. I mean, it would be cool to see him win a play track. It's kind of cool to see just, I guess, how skills matter at play tracks. With Stenhouse being someone who just essentially has made a career out of winning at play tracks, it's pretty impressive. Next up, Alex Bowman. This is another one. Guy that seems to be on the hot seat. I'm putting him in the playoffs for now, but yeah, it's really tricky. I think you're going to have a lot of people split on him that are going to choose a Hendrick car to miss the playoffs. You're easily choosing the 48, but anyways. Larson, easy playoff pick. Cody Ware, banned. ARCA, get him out of here. When I say get him out of here, I don't necessarily mean like being totally disrespectful or, okay, all right. Anyways, Ty Gibbs, sophomore slump last year. Is this the year he takes a step forward or not? I'm saying yeah. And right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I only got 3 spots left. Okay, I'm probably going to have to knock someone out that I currently have in. Anyways, Brad Keselowski, yeah, here's another one. I think Brad's getting in with a win at some point in the regular season. Ryan Preece, this is kind of like his make-or-break opportunity. I'm putting him in just missed it. I actually think Ryan Preece, you could put him in contemplating life, but I think he's fast. I think he's good enough in a few situations to understand why he still has a ride. So I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. We got some part-timers here. I'll just put him in ARCA, even though that's probably not where they should go. Well, I don't know. It depends. But here we go. Justin Haley. I'm really mixed on this guy. There seems to be a lot of hype around him. Obviously, you switch drivers in the middle of a season. That's pretty uncommon with the Spire bailing on LaJoy halfway through the season last year. I just don't believe the hype. I don't believe the hype. I'm putting him in contemplating life. I don't believe the hype. Next one, Michael McDowell. We'll put him in just missed it. I rate him higher than Haley. Hocevar, another one, just missed it. Kyle Busch, you know what I said. I had him as my most improved driver for the year. He's going to win. I think he makes the playoffs. That leaves me with 2 spots left up here. And yeah, also I probably should speak a little bit more to Hocevar. Yeah, I think he'll be fast. Another guy that wouldn't shock me if they win, but I still just don't think Spire's quite at that race winning level. I think they're really close, in a tier with Front Row Motorsports. Anyways, and another one, Jimmy Johnson. We'll put him in. Man, he's both ARCA and contemplating life right now. I like Jimmy, but just his Cup Series tenure has been pretty rough. Contemplating life. I don't know. That 84 has had a rough go over the last few years. Shane Van Gisbergen, playoff guy. That's all I can say. Oh, shoot. Okay. Wait. I think I am going to have to get rid of someone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, okay. So I have Suarez. Another one, contemplating life. I think he's out of it. This is not a hot take at all. A lot of people think Zilch is going to be in that car next year. I'm fully on that bandwagon. Okay, Chase Elliott. Here we go. He's in. I mean, you can't have Chase Elliott miss, but that means I have to get rid of somebody here. And I think Kyle Busch is taking a step forward. Brad Keselowski won one race last year. Probably had the speed to win more than that. Bowman, you want to drop down, but we'll get back. We'll get back to that. Reddick, easy. Logano, another one that I kind of, I'm going to be called a fool if I drop him down though. Larson, Bell, Briscoe, Myron, Busher, SVG. I think both these guys could win a race, but it wouldn't shock me if Allmendinger doesn't. And then yeah, Gibbs, another one that some people might have missing. Do I drop Bowman? I think I don't want to be that guy. Everybody's going to... If there's a Hendrick car that misses, everybody's going to hop on the Bowman bandwagon. But I'm hopping. I'm doing it. Unfortunately. I think Allmendinger does just get a win somewhere, or he's gonna force his way in. I just don't think Bowman. He kind of got the cheeky win at Chicago under the circumstances, and I could totally get proved wrong. Bowman probably has the speed to win 2 or 3 races this year, but I just don't have him doing it. Okay, now playoffs, first round. My strikeouts here. I'm just gonna start moving people forward that I think are locks essentially, no matter what. Larson, Elliott, Blaney, Hamlin, Busher. I think like the RFK cars, I'm really confident because they seem to have consistent speed everywhere we go. Bell, Briscoe, Byron. And then this kind of, now I'm starting to weed it down just a little bit. I'm probably going to move Busch up here. Reddick is another one. So I just got one guy here out of these 5 that I think is going to advance. And this is kind of a crazy take, but I'm going to put SVG in. Logano won the championship, but you know what he did the year before that? He was knocked out in the round of 16. So that's why I have Logano out. I think it's boom or bust for him. It's not an even year, guys. It's not an even year. Chastain, I think SVG is just going to be a better all-around driver by the time we get there. I also think he could win more than like 1 or 2 road courses. And I think he's going to have those playoff points and the stuff that comes with that. I think Chastain might win 1 race. He might even go winless. We'll see. And then Ty Gibbs finally makes the playoffs, but just doesn't, I still think he's not quite to his full form yet. And then Allmendinger, yeah, he's a bit more of a road course specialist at this point. And I just think SVG, even though right now Allmendinger's a better oval driver, I think SVG is going to continue to evolve to a better driver. And that 16 is just a far inferior car to the 88 in general. And next up, round of 12. We got 2 very chaotic rounds this year with the round of 12 and the round of 8. And really, all the playoff rounds now are just total chaos. But we'll move forward a few more guys that I think are just kind of locked in no matter what. I mean, I shouldn't say no matter what, but just a few more guys that I'm very confident in are, Larson, Elliott, Blaney, Bell, Byron, Reddick. These guys just seem to always be able to be to the round of 8 at least. And now Hamlin, Busher, Keselowski, Briscoe, Busch, SVG. I think this is where SVG bites the dust for me. And I want to move Briscoe up. I do. I'm very confident this is going to be his breakout year. You know what? I'm going to do it. And I'm moving up Chris Buescher. So Buescher and Briscoe. I think Hamlin, he's getting to the end of the wick. I think his career's starting to hit a wind down. I mean, round of 12 is still pretty good for these other guys, especially. I think, SVG, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, probably not Kyle Busch, but Keselowski and SVG would be happy to make it this far. Next up, round of 8. Our championship 4 picks. Who's the first one to lock in? We're going to go with Christopher Bell. And then we'll go with Kyle Larson. And I kind of want to do Blaney. I'm going to do Blaney because he just seems to always find his way there. Playoff form, Penske. That's all I can say. And now here I have some really tricky decisions. I just don't think Buscher's going to do it, but it wouldn't shock me in this situation. Byron could be one. I think he could definitely win. Reddick is boom or bust. I think Reddick with Homestead and Las Vegas. But Briscoe, I'm very high on him going into this year. But we're going to bump Reddick up. This is our final 4. 23X sidecar, Penske car, Gibbs car, Hendrick car. 4 different teams in the final 4. I don't know when the last time that was. And, at Phoenix, really, anything can happen. The Penskes are always really, really strong there. But I think after, another Penske championship, these other teams are going to wake up to it and realize they just have to be good at Phoenix. With that said, I don't think Larson wins it. Phoenix is just not Larson's track. But Bell and Reddick are really who it comes down to for me. I think Blaney will get there, but I think just these guys really want it. They're also typically pretty fast at Phoenix. I'm going to say Michael Jordan gets his first career championship with Tyler Reddick. All right, guys, there you have it. There you have my NASCAR playoff predictions, my championship predictions, where I think the season's going to go, some accolades, some little tidbits of information over here. Feel free to comment down below what you agree with, what you disagree with. Make sure you drop a like, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to give you my 5-minute recap on the Daytona 500 tomorrow after the race ends. Thanks for tuning in once again, y'all. And, yeah, peace. Peace. Peace.